Till in 1948 Lyndon B Johnson used a helicopter to campaign for office. He would hover over farmers working in their fields, many who had never seen a helicopter, and blare through the loudspeaker, "Hello, down there. This is your friend, Lyndon Johnson, your candidate for the United States Senate." He also used to throw his giant Stetson hat into the crowd as he lifted off in his helicopter from rallies. If his campaign staff didn't retrieve that expensive hat, they were right fucked. "Hello, down there. This is your friend, LBJ, take a look at my huge penis." I read one LBJ story about his earlier campaigns. He would tell the crowd, "When I was a boy, every Sunday morning I'd hitch our horse up to the wagon and take my grandparents to a Baptist church and back. Then in the afternoon, I'd hitch the horse back up and take my other set of grandparents to a Presbyterian church." One day, an aide mentioned he never knew LBJ had such a religious childhood. "Don't be a damn fool, Henry. We didn't even have a horse." He would also show people his penis and ask, "Have you ever seen anything as big as this? Hail to the chief, baby." I'd imagine the farmers just looked at each other and asked what the fuck he just said while they heard garbled inaudible yelling and a loud-ass helicopter right above them. He won the Vietnam War using the exact same tactic. The local Democrat political machine committed ballot fraud to help LBJ beat his primary challenger in a runoff. His opponent, Coke Stevenson, went to investigate and hired ex-Texas Ranger Frank Hamer, the same guy who tracked and killed Bonnie and Clyde. When they arrived at the corrupt precinct, there was a confrontation between hired gunmen from the local party boss and Frank Hamer, but he was able to stare them down and gain access to the ballot boxes. They proved that 202 ballots were fraudulent. LBJ had won by 87 votes. The case went all the way to the SCOTUS, which ruled the fraud didn't matter because the decision to nominate a candidate was the jurisdiction of the party and not the federal gov. Darn. My name's finally relevant and I'm late to the party. In case you're wondering, you do look like ants from up here. Do you like my shiny flying machine? Perhaps if one were to vote for me, they would be permitted a voyage. No promises. If you like this TIL, check out the book series on LBJ by Robert Caro, https://en, Wikipedia. org/wiki/the_years_of_Lyndon_Johnson. LBJ had quite an interesting history, stealing elections for office in college, and later in Congress, including in a helicopter. Also worked as a school teacher in a Texas ghetto, and turned some of his students into great debaters. Cool book, or 4, about a cool president with no chill. Also, if you think the 4 books are too long, check out the author's book The Power Broker, https://en. Wikipedia, org/wiki/the_power_broker, about another guy with no chill, who used his immense power to shape NYC unalterably. Did he give them the Johnson treatment? LBJ had to be one of the biggest fucking trolls to have wielded so much power. He was a huge underdog candidate that year, and that helicopter, he had a name for it like the Texas windmill or something like that, but I can't remember. Arguably won him the election. Well, that and stealing votes in the southern counties of Texas like Star and Zapata. Jumbo. How the fuck did he get a helicopter in 1948? You haven't lived till you've heard LBJ talk about his bunghole. https://www. youtube.com/watch, v=s3gt9un7ndu, https://www. youtube.com/watch, v=s3gt9un7ndu. This dude used to whip his dick out and show it off. Johnson was a crazy motherfucker. Legend has it that a whole county of dead people voted for him. Sounds like a Futurama skit. And then he dropped an empty Coke bottle from the helicopter. I'm Lady Hawk Johnson, and that fella buzzing in your ears is my partner of 40 years, Mr. Lyndon B. If the soil was moist enough, or if rain had come within the fortnight, LBJ would have the chopper pilot swoop down so he could assist in plowing the fields of his constituents with his elephantine, shovel-shaped penis. Son of a bitch flattened Ma Barley. Then, he would land, making a big show of throwing his hat out into the crowd, perhaps to a kid or something. Johnson would then turn to one of his staffers and say, "Okay, go get my hat. And let me tell you about my massive penis." Imagine aliens coming in energy bulbs asking us to suck their gonads. Classic Big Dick Johnson move. It's a three-pronged attack: subliminal, liminal, and superliminal. L. T. Smash. Weird flex but okay. Absolutely genius. That had to be the talk of the town for a week. That audio tape of LBJ asking the FBI to investigate why his nuts would get pinched every time he sat down is hilarious. Bell 47D right. Did he hang his Johnson out? That's our problem these days. Our presidents just cruise on over in Air Force One. Big dick energy, literally. Or alternately he could have said, "Hello, this is God from on high, vote for Lyndon B. Johnson. Would you like to see my giant penis?" Apparently LBJ has a hammer. He used to call his dong jumbo. He occasionally pulled it out in meetings. That would make me want to vote for someone less LOL. Stop flexing on me. Every good campaign manager knows that the best way for your candidate to connect with the working classes, the salt of the earth, is to shout at them from a helicopter. Then he'd pull out his monster Johnson and twirl it like a helicopter. /ibit fluttering / hello my fellow Americans, this is your president, John Henry Eden. And then he'd pull out his dick. A good example of trying to win a popularity contest as opposed to, serving the public. He would do this as well whenever his daughters Linda and Lucy were out on dates at the drive-in movies or diners, originating the term helicopter parent. Wouldn't he also helicopter his dick at people as a power move? He also cornered fellow senators in the bathroom and pulled out his dick to intimidate them into voting yes on bills. Wouldn't that have been annoying as fuck for those farmers? Not much has changed. Politicians still talk down to us. He was also a nasty racist. "God, is that you?" Then he's say, "I have a huge penis." I was at his ranch in Hill County in Texas, and learned a lot about him. As president, LBJ was successful in passing Clean Air Act, Fair Housing Act, Medicare/Medicaid and Social Security. He helped a lot of poor people. Well shit, if someone hovered over my backyard asking me to vote for them, I would, no matter how much our opinions differ. You win. This is how the David Foster Wallace story Lyndon starts, though it says 1954. Awesome story, by the way. Over Texas? Geez. I guess those balls were pretty big. Bruh, Japan does this fucking all the time with banner planes. Ugly ad banner and speaker. It was a flyover campaign in flyover country, a real man of the people at the original flex. If you find this impressive, you should see Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will, a propagandist work heralding Hitler's ascension to office. It is considered one of earliest examples of using a plane for politicking, and thereby helped to create a cult of personality around Adolf. He and chief propagandist Goebbels submitted some impressive work. Everyone in Germany received a home radio, a marvelous piece of new consumer tech. That which then spouted fascist propaganda directly into homes. Leading up to his early elections, he was first to use the plane to rally support in several places in just one night. The Nazis sold merch in heavily restricted quantities outside of their meetings, only held meetings and political rallies in venues far too small a way of manufacturing interest and exclusivity, and Hitler himself mastered some rhetorical devices that would become hallmarks of his speech: unassuming introduction spoken softly, for example, before steadily increasing the volume into apoplectic tirades. "Which one's my helicopter? Son, they're all my helicopters." This is the same guy that used to terrify passengers by driving his car into a lake without telling them it was amphibious. https://www. Business Insider. com/Lyndon Johnson played terrifying prank with his Amphicar 2014-8. a tactic he would later employ during the Vietnam War, face with tears of joy.